Hello, once again, guys. I'm covering 2 weeks at once this time with the mini booster format. Of course, not much has changed here. The main thing we want to be looking at is, are our decks from BTO2 still performing, which are Shadows and Murakumo, or have they fallen now that the hype is dissipated? And how are Exculpate and Noval doing? So we've had 3 VGCSs in this time. The first one we had was Bullet VGCS, which is not great for information because with Team VGCS that only had 18 teams, so it's a relatively low sample size. We see Murakumo still performing well. All 3 of the Murakumo that were in the tournament made top 8. And how many of those made top 4? 1, 2. 2 of them made the top 4. Yeah, still seeing a lot of Kagero, still seeing a lot of Oracle Think Tank. We have an increased amount of Royal Paladin. But yeah, we got only one of them made the top 4 in the 3rd place team. And it was carrying, what was it carrying again? I believe it was carrying Exculpate. Yeah, it was a 3 Exculpate list. I don't believe, did we get a record? Yeah, it went 4-3, and it was on a team with DP and Oracle Think Tank. So lacking, only had one of the typical well-performing team lists. Yeah, but it did not perform well against Oracle Think Tank, so definitely not fixing that matchup. That's obvious enough. Murakumo still going strong. 6-1 Murakumo in 1st place team. 5-2 Murakumo in 2nd place team. Good stuff. Oracle Think Tank still running around, of course, on all 4 of these. No, all but one. The 1st place team. I forgot about this already. We had a Pale Moon team on the 1st place team. And it's not just on the 1st place team. It went 5-2. It performed better than the Kagero on this team. Beating out Kagero in Swiss rounds, Oracle Think Tank in top 8, but I lost to Oracle Think Tank more often than but regardless, this here is the list. It's an 11 grade. We'll look at this in more detail, but it's 11 grade 3 list. Fairly interesting. This doesn't carry any of the new promos, but regardless. Something you'll notice in general is that we have a bit of an upswing on Pale Moon tops. Like, there's a lot more Pale Moon tops than there was before. So, you know, very interesting. Now, let's check out, of course, this Kagero list. Let's see if our good old boy Noval is being played. And the answer for you is big fat no. We're just playing normal Kagero because shocking no one, Noval kind of sucks, and we're going to see more of that as we go through this. There's one other Kagero list in here that we can take a look at. Here it is. And yeah, this one was not carrying Noval either. Standard list with Dilmond. Yeah, 6 for trigger ratio. Yeah, nothing much to really say there. We'll take a look at the general performance in locals later, but next, 2nd Hokkaido VGCS. This was a rather large one. 64-person solo event with best of 3, 4 rounds of Swiss into best of 3 top 16 cut. More Royals, more Pale Moon than usual. Only 2 Murakumo, still with that low participation. And Murakumo did not make top 4. We don't have the top 8 for this tournament, so we don't know if a Murakumo made top 8. So no Murakumos here, but this tournament is very bizarre. It's a very large VGCS. It's singles. We had normal participation counts for OTT, Shadows, Kagero, the decks that you would typically expect to be performing well. But instead, our top 4 is 1st place Royal Paladin, and this isn't even an especially Exculpate focused list. This is only one copy of Exculpate. Relatively standard list with only 1 Exculpate and as well as 1 Richard. Otherwise, very, very standard. 4 Alfred, 3 SSD, normal grade 2 lineup, normal grade 1 lineup. Nothing special going on here. There has been a lot of play with Richard, as you'll see as we go through this. But yeah, this is the 1st place list. It's bizarre. Then we see another big top from Pale Moon, 2nd place at this tournament. Again, this is a very high grade 3 count with 10 grade 3s, and this is one of the 8 draw lists that has been going around for a while. The point there is that you shove in draws for Beast Tamer's skill to activate that skill and get additional cards in hand because you have a bunch more draws. That's the whole concept there. Tachikaze in third place, which only had 2 Tachikaze in the tournament in the first place. Very standard list. If you're expecting the WGP promos, because I know it's out in Singapore and other places, there have not been any WGPs in Japan as far as I'm aware. So you're not going to be seeing any of those WGP promos. I bring that up now because Tachikaze has a really good one that you might expect to see play. And then, of course, we have a very standard Oracle Think Tank list here taking up 4th. But that's the only like standard meta deck we have at all in this top 4. We don't know if there were more in top 8 because the top 8 for this tournament was not stated. And then the last VGCS we have for these 2 weeks is the second Fukui VGCS, which was a 29-team VGCS. And we have standard top 8, a bunch of Oracle Think Tank. Well, not quite standard because there are a lot of Royal Paladins here. Something you'll notice with the top 4 teams is that every single one of them it has both Royals and Oracle Think Tank. So we're going to take a look through all of them because we want to see what's going on with our boy Exculpate. First place team is very standard besides the inclusion of Royals, because just Oracle, Kagero, and then third pick, which in this case is Royals. So let's just take a look how Exculpate is doing for us. In this first place list, we do not have Exculpate at all. This is a very standard list, just drawing in some Richard. Richard is the only addition to be found here. Kagero list is not carrying any Novell either, so continued no showing from Novell. Then here in second place, we have 2 Exculpates in this list, and no Richard. Yeah, no Richard. No Richard here. And we have a Spikes top here as well. So Spike's continuing to perform. They don't have Angela yet. How did that Royals perform? We did not get the record for that one, but the Royals in first place was 5-3, so not a very impressive record, all things considered. And like same applies to the Royals in third place, 3-5. So like there is reason to believe that these might have very much been carried, but we don't know for the second place and fourth place one. And like it might just be that all these teams that like it would be very weird if 6 out of 8 teams like were just carrying their Royal, just had a deadweight third team member. But it could have happened. It is possible that that happened. Then, third place, Royals. We again have 2 Exculpate and no Richard in this one. Standard OTT. Sorry about that. And nothing special in this channel list. Well, it is going 3 Charon, 4 Abyss Router. That's something worth making note of. And there's no car in here, which is likely because of the 4 Abyss Router. Not much to really say there. And then third place, we have again Shadows. Very standard list, except only carrying 3 Blaster Dark and no car again. OTT. And then Royals, this one is only carrying 1 Exculpate and 1 Richard, like the first place list. Wait, no, like the first place Hokkaido list, right? Also, if you want to take a look at this doc that I'm going through here, the link is in the description below. So I should have mentioned that at the start. All links to all of the tops I was able to find from throughout these 2 weeks. And we even have the very beginning of the 3rd week here. But with that said, let's go into the spreadsheet, which if you want to find, you can find it right here in this link in the header of every page on the MBO1 doc. So here we are. So yes. So overall performance, we didn't get that many tops from release weekend. But here we have Murakumo, very much well performing still, and had a high performing. This is under locals because it's not a VGCS or anything like that. But this is not something that should be discounted by any stretch of the imagination, because this top was from a 48-man tournament at the Card Kingdom. And so let's just take a glance at that real quick. It's fairly standard Murakumo, 6/6 on crit and draw. It's running the new card from the new promo pack. So good to see that seeing some play. There isn't a whole lot of carrying of that card, I assume, because most people don't have their play sets yet. I know that this happening early on with the last promo pack. Torte wasn't being played a whole lot in the first week or two, likely because players just didn't have them yet. So we'll likely see them more as the weeks go on. But Murakumo is still performing very consistently there at a local level, despite what everything tells us about participation counts. Royals also performing quite well, tying with Kagero, beating out OTT in the locals counts. And yeah, over here we have all the breakdown. You can look at it as you still see fit, but the main thing that we're here for is to take a look at card usage stats, which I have over here. So yeah, so Exculpate is being played in the vast majority of the Royals lists. There's only 2 here that are not playing it. This is the Hokkaido. Yeah, that's the Hokkaido one. And this is just some random locals that wasn't played. Right. Yeah. And this was a team tournament. Oh, wait, no, it was played. What? Got that wrong. Did I get these mixed up? Wait, what? Okay, sorry. I will fix that later. Okay, I just didn't change the link there. That's what happened there. I forgot to change the link. Wait, no, did I just click? Yeah, I just clicked the wrong link. I'm sorry. I just clicked the wrong link. Yeah, this is the correct list that was not carrying Exculpate. Yeah, just some locals that we don't have participation numbers for. It was a rather odd list, only carrying 3 Akane and wasn't using Exculpate at all, so you know. But everything else is running Exculpate. How many are only running 1? We have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, only 3 of them are only running 1 Exculpate. And everything else is like, so we have those 2 that aren't running any at all. And like 2 of these one-of ones are accounted for from VGCSs that we looked at. And then this one is also from a VGCS we looked at. So mostly being played at like 2 or 3 across the board. King of Knights, Alfred, has stayed being played, but there are some lists that are diving out of it. Soul Saver Dragon is being played consistently across the board because the 2 cards don't really clash, so having those 2 finishers in tandem is very strong. But most lists are only playing like 3. Yeah, because like the what I found in my testing, and I imagine this is why they're doing it too, is that it's much like it's a bit of a high requirement thing to get Soul Saver off on turn 3, while also because in an Exculpate deck, you also need to be having that Blaster Blade in Soul so that you can go into Exculpate after. So you need to build up 6 Soul during the main phase. So that's the whole problem there. So it's typically better at 3 because at 3 copies you can just run it after Exculpate. Basically the idea would be you Exculpate and then you use 2 Akanes or Pongals to build your soul back up, those 2 that you need, and then you Soul Saver. Pretty simple. Early usage is very low, completely unsurprising because early clashes with the deck hard. Like, while Soul Saver pre-Exculpate has this problem, early always has this problem. It's always removing the Blaster Blade from your soul. So yeah. Grade 2 lineups. So Benon is not being played much at all. Much for the same reason that early isn't. The lists that are running at like 3 or 4, but mostly people are sticking with the tried and true Blaster Blade, Akane, and Joran lineup. But a couple people still running around with some Galatine. Then grade 1s, most people are sticking with their Marin, Allen, and Pongal usage, but Richard has seen quite a bit of teching, some at quite high counts, like somewhere like half, I think half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9 out of a total of 19. So yeah, about half of the lists are carrying Richard in some form. So there's that. Try that out if you like. And we have some lists experimenting with 6/6 on the trigger lineup. Particularly, I believe these are specifically lists that are going harder on Exculpate. Yeah, that's a 3 Exculpate list. This is 243. This is 243. So none of the lists that are like going like one copy. Like this is a thing that you're doing when you're doing a more extra focus deck, because you're shoving cards into all and stuff. So basic stuff. Okay, Kagro, how is our friend Novell doing? Not hot. Not doing very well. You like just one gander at this average usage of Novell Vague, and it's just very obvious, yeah, this is not doing so well. And like most of its usage has been as like a 1 or 2 of tech in very standard Kagro list. There's only one dedicated Novell top Novell list that's topped, and this was at a tournament we do not know the participation count for. And by extension, this of course extends to Novell Critic and Novell Roman, both with average usages of less than 1, because like you're just sticking with Waterfall because it's not worth diverging from that. So this set was basically a nothing set. Is there anything else of note here? Dragon Armored Knight demo version has been picking up quite a lot as the third choice. It is the most common third grade 2 choice right now. So make of that what you will. Rarepia has devolved over the weeks to just end up being a tech at this point, with most people just sticking with 4 bar, 4 Gaius, and 4 Airmo, and their extra slots going into either Novell techs or extra grade 2s. And then trigger lineup has stayed about the same, mostly 6-6 across the board, though there have been more lists running 8-4 because that's what Novell prefers. So some of the lists experimenting more with that have dove into that sort of list, but you know, and Waterfall here very rarely taken below 4, even in the lists teching it. Like we have this 3-2-3 list here. We have the dedicated Novell list here. And that's it. Those are the only ones that aren't running for Waterfall. So, you know, exactly as one would have expected. I don't believe there's any changes with how things are being run in Oracle Think Tank. Nope. Nova Grapplers. We have no tops for Nova Grapplers, so there's nothing to talk about there. Tachikaze, nothing to talk about, but they had a decent amount of tops this second week. They have nothing in week 1, but between those VGCSs and a couple local stops, you know, they're still doing things. Spikes, decent amount of tops. We had this very weird list, this bizarre list, that was going 2 Seafried, 3 Unite Attacker, and was not carrying any Panther. So very bizarre list. Make of that what you will. Make of that what you will. I will not recommend that to you, but hey. Basically no one's running Franny anymore, just one person. Just this one list was carrying Franny, which was otherwise very standard. Mega Colony. Yeah. The most common tech at this point has become Bombing Tailback, just for that extra shield. So you know. Yeah. Mega Colony, nothing happening here. Dimension Police, nothing much happening here that's interesting. Silvard usage has gone down a bit less. Sorry, Silvard usage has gone down a bit, but overall, not a whole lot of tops to draw information from here. Grand Blue still getting a decent amount of tops, and of the like not top tier decks, like Grand Blue is sitting pretty close to the top alongside Spikes. Like we have the big meta decks, which are Royals, Kagro, Oracle, Shadow, and Murakumo. We'll see if that Royals usage dies down. But among the other decks, we have like the top ones are Pale Moon, which has had a big uptick. Let's look at the full community. Pale Moon has had a big uptick. Dark Regulars, no. Then we have Spikes here, Tachi's here, Grand Blue here, yeah. DI has had more success than typically did, like 2 tops a week. Yeah, nothing much to really say there. Yeah, Grand Blue lists haven't really changed at all though. It's just the same very standard list that they've been running for from the start, with this one guy teching Alvaro, I guess, but that's it. There's this really weird list here that was 11 grade 3 that was going 4 Baskerk, 4 Skulldragon, 4 Baskerk, 4 Skulldragon, 2 Flanger, and 1 Negro Beach. It sure is a list. And only 2 Blue Blood. So that was freaking bizarre. I don't know. I'm not really feeling that. Not much going on with Aquaforce. With Shadows, car usage has dipped farther and farther, and Dictator usage has gone up and up. Abyss Router has become even more cemented as the go-to 4th grade 1 slot. More trigger lineups leaning towards 7-5 and 8-4, away from the 6-6 that was being run before. Benjishi has not seen much play yet because, like, I assume players don't really have it yet. But otherwise, things are looking pretty standard for Murakumo. The Mandala lists have completely fallen off. And yeah, nothing really to say there. 6-6 crit draw mostly across the board with a couple people experimenting with fronts, but mostly on the crit train still. Dark Regulars, nothing much happening here. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything to say here. These are still very standard. Nothing has really changed in how they're being built. And Pale Moon, this have been trending heavily towards the high grade 3 counts, with our average being up in the 11s. 7.4. That doesn't make. Oh, I didn't adjust this. My bad. Real quick, I gotta adjust this so that's showing the correct average. That just didn't look right. Oh, and I didn't put in Dreaming King. Let me just fix all this real quick. It'll just take a moment. So of the Rogue decks, Pale Moon seems to be performing the best right now, with quite a few tops, including some high-profile tops in these last few weeks. Oh, I forgot to modify this one. Ah! Crap. Crap. Come on. Okay, sure. I'll just talk as I go here. What? Oh, 5/6. Sorry. Spreadsheets are a pain. So, no, nothing really has changed here. Staple VR is staple at 4. Grade 2 lineups have stayed stable at 4 Jumping Jill, 4 sticking mainly with Jumping Jill, Nitro Juggler, and Amaranth with a bit of teching of Dancing Knife Juggler, and the new Dreaming King of Comedy was played in this list from not a VGCS, just some random top. Trigger lineups have been still trending towards fronts and trending heavily towards, like, there's not that big of a difference between the usage of Chris and fronts, but there's been a heavy trend towards more draws, like with basically every list running 6 or 8 draws. So, you know, what I was talking about earlier with that VGCS 8 draw list, you want those draw triggers to increase your hand size, and that helps you feed your Golden Beast. But yeah, there's nothing else really to be said here. I've been going for 24 minutes at this point, so I think I've said all that needs to be said. With that said, this is Hunter Surge signing off.